The road to Karthala Ridge disappeared long before the mountains did. Rovi slowed the jeep as the headlights struggled against the mist curling over the forest floor. The road had narrowed into a strip of broken gravel, and trees leaned inward as if trying to swallow the path entirely. From the back seat, Mira leaned forward. "Are you sure this is the right way?" Rovi nodded, though he wasn't completely certain. "The map said the trailhead is past the old quarry." "You mean the quarry that closed after the collapse?" Arjun said dryly. "That's the one." Silence settled over them as the jeep rolled forward, engine humming softly in the night. Somewhere far off, a night bird cried, a long, hollow sound that echoed through the valley. It felt like a warning. They were 5 in total: Rovi, Mira, Arjun, Kofia, and Imran. All of them were experienced trekkers, amateur spelunkers, and lovers of places most people avoided. Their plan was simple: explore a newly discovered cave system beneath Karthala Ridge, document it, and publish the footage online. Imran, the most enthusiastic of the group, had discovered the cave entrance through satellite imagery and local rumors. Shepherds spoke of breathing hills and strange sounds rising from the earth at night. Naturally, that was exactly the sort of thing Imran wanted to investigate. They reached the trailhead just before midnight. The forest was unnaturally quiet. No insects chirped. No leaves rustled. Even the wind seemed reluctant to move. Kofia noticed it first. "Do you hear that?" "Hear what?" Mira asked. "Exactly," Kofia said. They found the cave entrance after a 30-minute hike through dense forest. It wasn't a grand opening in a cliffside like they expected. Instead, it was a jagged fissure in the ground, partially hidden by ferns and stones. Cold air flowed from it, steady, slow, and damp. Imran crouched near the opening, shining his flashlight inside. The beam vanished into darkness. "Perfect," he whispered, smiling. Rovi felt a strange unease. The air smelled faintly metallic, like rust or old blood. "You ever get the feeling," Mira said quietly, "that some places don't want to be found?" Arjun laughed. "It's a hole in the ground, not a temple guardian." Still, none of them spoke for a few seconds. Then, one by one, they began their descent. The cave opened into a wide chamber about 20 meters below the surface. Water dripped steadily from the ceiling, echoing like distant footsteps. The walls shimmered with mineral deposits, pale and ghostly in the flashlight beams. Imran set up a camera on a rock. "Day 1 of the Karthala expedition," he said softly. "Initial descent successful." Kofia walked slowly along the wall, running her fingers over the stone. "These markings," she said. "Do you see them?" They weren't natural formations. Thin grooves lined parts of the wall, curved, intersecting, almost like scratches. "Animal claws?" Rovi suggested. "Too deliberate," Kofia said. No one argued, but no one offered another explanation either. The passage beyond the chamber sloped downward. The air grew colder. Their voices began to sound different, muted, swallowed by the darkness. At one point, Mira turned around suddenly. "Did someone just walk behind us?" Everyone stopped. "No," Rovi said. "We're all here." But Mira kept looking back, her light trembling slightly. After an hour of walking, they reached a narrow tunnel barely wide enough to crawl through. Imran went first, pushing his pack ahead of him. The stone pressed against his shoulders, rough and cold. The darkness ahead felt heavier than usual, as if it had weight. Halfway through, he froze. "What is it?" Rovi called from behind. Imran hesitated. "I thought I heard breathing." "Your own," Arjun said. "Keep moving." Imran didn't answer for a few seconds. Then he continued. The tunnel opened into a cavern with an underground river cutting through it. The water was black, perfectly still, reflecting their lights like a mirror. Beautiful, Kofia whispered. But Rovi noticed something strange. There was no sound of flowing water. Not even a ripple. It was as if the river wasn't moving at all. They found footprints near the riverbank. Bare human footprints. Fresh. Everyone stared at them in silence. That's impossible, Mira said. No one comes here, Imran whispered. The footprints led into the darkness along the far wall. And then, stopped. As if the person had simply vanished. They decided to rest in the cavern. None of them slept well. At some point, Rovi woke to a faint sound. A soft noise. He sat up, listening. Scrape. Scrape. It was coming from the darkness beyond the river. He shone his flashlight across the cavern. Nothing. But for a brief moment, he thought he saw something move, low to the ground, too fast to see clearly. In the morning, Imran was gone. His sleeping bag lay empty. His camera lay beside it, still recording. They watched the footage. At some point during the night, Imran had stood up slowly and walked toward the darkness, as if sleepwalking. He never came back. They followed his footprints into a narrow passage. The walls grew tighter. The air smelled worse now, damp and sour. Then they found the first drop of blood. And another. And another. Until the trail ended at a deep vertical shaft. Rovi shone his light downward. The beam vanished before reaching the bottom. From somewhere deep below came a faint, wet sound. Chewing. They began hearing sounds everywhere. Footsteps behind them. Whispers just beyond hearing. Breathing that wasn't their own. At one point, Arjun spun around suddenly and shouted, "Who's there?" The cave answered with silence. But something in that silence felt alive. Kofia found it on the wall. A crude drawing scratched into the stone. It showed figures descending into a cave. And shapes waiting below. The shapes had long limbs and empty eyes. One of the figures in the drawing was being dragged away. The others were running. And at the top of the drawing was a symbol, like a circle with lines radiating outward. A sun. Or an eye. "We are not the first," Mira said. "And not the last," Rovi replied quietly. They saw it near a bend in the tunnel. A pale shade crouched on the ceiling, perfectly still. At first Rovi thought it was a rock formation. Then it moved. It unfolded slowly, long, thin limbs, skin as white as bone, eyes reflecting the flashlight like an animal's. It stared at them. Then it shrieked. The sound was unbearable, high, piercing, inhuman. They ran. The tunnels twisted and branched endlessly. Behind them, they heard scraping, skittering, and that awful shriek echoing through the stone. At one point Rovi glanced back. There were 3 of them now. Moving fast. Too fast. In the chaos, Arjun slipped on wet stone and fell into a side passage. They heard his scream. Then silence. No one went back. They reached a vast chamber littered with bones. Human bones. Hundreds of them. Some were fresh. Some were ancient. And in the center of the chamber was a pit, breathing cold air like a lung. Something moved inside it. Many things. Kofia whispered, "They are not animals." "No," Rovi said. They were human. The creatures had once been explorers, travelers, people who had come down and never found their way back. Over time, In darkness, they had changed, adapted, hunted, forgotten the sun. Only Rovi and Mira remained. They ran blindly, following the faint upward slope of a tunnel. Behind them, the creatures followed, shrieking in rage. The air grew warmer, fresher. Hope flickered. Then the tunnel collapsed ahead of them. Blocked. The creatures were coming. Rovi saw a narrow crack in the wall, just wide enough for one person. "Go," he told Mira. "I'm not leaving you. You don't have a choice." The shrieks were closer now. Mira hesitated. Then she crawled into the crack. Rovi turned to face the darkness. Mira crawled for what felt like hours. Then she saw it. Moonlight. She burst out onto the mountainside, gasping, shaking, covered in mud and blood. Behind her, the cave entrance yawned like an open mouth. She waited. Rovi never came out. Rescue teams searched for weeks. They found nothing. The entrance collapsed after heavy rains, sealing the cave forever. Officially, the expedition was declared a tragic accident. Unofficially, Mira never spoke about what she saw. Except once. To a journalist who asked her what scared her most in the cave. She answered quietly, "They weren't hunting us." "What do you mean?" "They were driving us deeper." Years later, a mining company began drilling near Kathola Ridge. On the third day, the workers reported hearing sounds rising from the ground. Scraping, breathing, and something else. A distant, echoing shriek.